the voice of track and field for ESPN, for our generations, and now board member for the National Scholastic Sports Foundation, Larry Rawson, with our special recognition ceremony. Take it away, Larry.
Thank you. It's on. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for being here to support the New Balance Outdoor National Championships. It's my honor to serve on the board and try and give back to the sport that has given me so much. I would like to ask 3 people who are very instrumental, 2 people who are full-time, to just step forward and be acknowledged. Trust me, this is a year-round job between the cross-country meet we put on, the New Balance Indoor National Championships, the Outdoor Championships, and between the 2 of them, we're talking of over 8,000 competitors nationally that they help to organize. 3,400 of you are here today, or this weekend I should say, and virtually every state of the union is represented. So it's a tremendous amount of work with Jim Spear, Joy Kamani, and the person who works part-time, Paul Limmer. Please step forward. And the rest of the staff, please step forward. Cedric, board members, Tracy Sunland, John Blackburn. These guys do a great job to help athletes get the recognition and the scholarships to college. We couldn't do it without the support of our next individual. He years ago started at Nike. New Balance recognized his talents and said, we want to extend our presence in the sport and the running world, and they recruited him to come to Boston, where he resides now. He has done a fabulous job, is extraordinarily well thought of in the sport, and has a wonderful team of people supporting the running community in this country. Please give a warm welcome to the man that helps make this all possible financially from New Balance, Mr. Josh Rowe. I said, Josh, what is your title? Is a director of running globally, and I went over a whole bunch of things his title could be, and he says, Larry, just tell him I'm with New Balance and I'm in the running department. But believe me, he carries a big stick and does a great job, and we thank you. I invited the next man next to him to come here because of his accomplishments. They are really extraordinary. He was undefeated in the low hurdles, ran brilliantly at 200 meters and 400 meters in 1953, 54, and 55. And then, as everybody had to do in those days, he served in the United States Marine Corps and went in. The Corps checked out what his athletic accomplishments have been while he was in boot camp at Parris Island. And they said, you know what? It's now May. You've been in boot camp for 2 months instead of 3 months. They called him up and said, we, if you want, are going to give you a chance to make the United States Olympic team in 1956, and they were less than 5 weeks away from the trials. They sent him to Quantico and gave him a chance to train hard for that period of time after not having done anything for almost 3 months. He would sneak out at night. You get very little sleep in boot camp as a former Marine myself, and he would get what's called the fire watch to wake him up before 5 in the morning to get out to what's called the grinder and to train there by himself to try and stay fit. He made the 3rd and final spot in the U.S. trials to go on to the Olympic team, and then after several more months of training, won the Olympic bronze medal in 1956 representing the United States. Now 80 years of age this year, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Culbreth. I might add in my wonderful testimonial from the standpoint I love telling a story about him. He also, in that period of time, tied the existing world record in the 400-meter hurdles, the first time it was ever run in the Olympic Games, and on a cinder track, he ran 50.4. Pretty good stuff, huh? 56 years ago. If we could take a minute, I'd like to ask if you would just have a moment of silence for a man who dedicated his life to the sport. For 45 years up in the Boston and Rhode Island area, he was a clerk from meet after meet, indoors and out. He was here at this event for 10 years as the chief clerk. He was the chief clerk of 2 U.S. Olympic trials, and he passed away this December. Would you all just bow your heads for a moment of silence for Mr. Jim Wilcox? Thank you. Let's move on, and I'd like to tell you about an award that we have instituted called the Barbara Jacket Award. And it goes to the most promising, outstanding young coach in the country. Obviously, very hard to choose from. Barbara Jacket started her coaching career after she graduated from Tuskegee Institute in 1954. There was hardly any track teams for women in those days, and she started coaching 2 years later. Long story short, she was named the NAIA track coach 23 times in her career. She had numerous national champions. She wound up being the head coach and administrator. And they do this in the sport at USA Track and Field. They pick people they think can deal with people well, and they give them assignments on international track teams to see how they handle every responsibility involved. And it ultimately ends out, if you do well and are successful, at being named the head Olympic coach, something that Barbara Jacket achieved representing the United States women's team in 1992. So this event is named for her. Our recipient could not be here for this event. It is Yolanda Johnson, who in her high school days set the national high school indoor 55-yard title in 1986. Went on to just a distinguished career and has turned to coaching and done a magnificent job. One example of this, last indoor season at the New Balance Indoor Championships, running the second fastest time ever done for that 60-meter distance. The apple did not fall far from the tree. Her daughter, Dionne Hall, won indoor nationals after she had set the record. So our congratulations to her, and this is what the plaque that she will receive will say. In recognition of a lifetime of coaching excellence, inspiration to young people, positive community leadership, and trailblazing accomplishments for those who will follow, we are proud to honor you with the creation of the Barbara Jacket Rising Star Coach Award, to be given annually at the New Balance Nationals to an up-and-coming high school coach. Your legacy will last for decades to come through the lives of those who you have inspired. With great respect and appreciation, your friends at the National Scholastic Sports Foundation. Yolanda, we're remembering you today. Thank you. We'd like to give a little shout out to a man who's not here, but we named him the honorary referee as a show of solidarity for what he is about to accomplish. And his name is Max Siegel. He was just named within the last month and a half as the new head track CEO for USA Track and Field. And obviously a big job. He has a decathlon wealth of experience in corporate America, and we hope it translates well to helping the sport of track and field in a variety of ways. But we wanted to acknowledge this as naming him the honorary referee, realizing with his busy schedule he may not be here. So how about a shout out from Max Siegel and your best wishes to him. I don't know where to begin with this next guy. I asked several coaches I know, please tell me what your thoughts are, because you've coached for 30 years yourself. What do you think of Steve Borbet? And the answers were amazing. One I'll single out. He said, Larry, there are so many outstanding coaches in this country. Based on the ranges of things that he does well within all the events of track and field, One guy said to me, I think he is one of the 10 best coaches in high school in the country. And his success is amazing. He's had 6 national champions. He's had 5 national relay champions. And he has had just success at the Penn relays. And he has had 19 New York State high school champions. He says the thing he's most proud of is 51 of the athletes he's coached have decided to become teacher coaches and dedicated and give back to the sport. He imbued such love in this. So it is our pleasure and also to acknowledge his wife, Kathy, who is an outstanding coach in her own right in Smithtown, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a wonderful round of applause for our Coach of the Year, Steve Borbet. Last year, we have an award that we give out to the staff. We have the most outstanding staff you could imagine. They fly in from all over the country, give of their time to try and make this as outstanding a national championships in high school as there is in America. And last year's recipient, when she should have been here to accept the award, moments before, we find out, and she's head of logistics for us, making all the backstory work. She is at a gas station gassing up one of the vehicles. We're talking to somebody in the vehicle. Get her over here now. And she says, what are you talking about? She has no idea about the award. Our recipient this year has no idea about the reward, but I want to tell you he's on premises. He has been a tireless worker here for 15 years with us. He has been dedicated to the sport for many years before that. He absolutely loves this like he loves his family. He has been just a brilliant resource for us, both in cross-country, indoor, and out. And he is standing behind me right now and doesn't know this is going to happen. His wife and family did. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a warm award for Justin Scranton. Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our festivities. All final championship races are on the docket right after we have our national anthem. And please give a wonderful welcome to a young lady who is leaving this year Apex Middle School from Cary, North Carolina, Azario Wilson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light
Azario Wilson. All right, folks, it's time. Championship race after championship race after championship race. So enjoy. Let's hear your support for them. And ladies and gentlemen is on the track. Start your engines.
Thank you, Larry Rawson. And now on the track, event number 18, the girls 400-meter hurdles champion.